What do you think?
I mean, she's nice, but she looks rugged. Botox does wonders.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Grim. Hope everyone's had an amazing week. Time to get back into the nitty-gritty with old Ed here on 90 Day The Single Life. Last time we checked in with Ed, he, let's just say a lot happened. Multiple times, something happened. And I don't really feel like going back over that, so if you missed that episode, make sure you go watch that right now. I'll also have a playlist of this entire story down in the comments below. But the time has come. It's time for Liz to meet Ed's daughter, who is 3 years older than her. That's right. The daughter of her new boyfriend is 3 years older than she is, so that's gonna be an awkward situation. Make sure you watch until the very end because, I mean, we all know this is gonna be super cringe. That's pretty much the entire theme of Ed's life is cringe, so you know what you're in store for. I don't gotta tell you. Without any further ado, let's just get into it and endure this together.
Thank you.
What are you doing?
Let me have your hand.
Oh man, first shot, we got already some awkward like middle school hand holding, you know, when you don't quite have the boundaries set up for your relationship, and hand holding is like the magnum opus of things to do as boyfriend and girlfriend. So Ed just doesn't know what to do with his hands, and he's just, you know, an awkward school child. But for those of you kind of confused, this episode is a bit of a time skip. It is now 2 weeks after the wedding. So yeah, some time has passed since that whole awkwardness, and they're official. It's been going apparently pretty well because she agreed to fly out to Vegas to meet Ed's daughter. So I guess we got to give a round of applause up front to Ed for at least making it a month. I really thought this was going to go on for, you know, like 2 days. I was expecting this relationship to possibly fall apart before they even head back from the wedding, but it looks like he's been holding out, and I'm proud of the boy right now.
I'm excited. I have a girlfriend. It's on.
That was a good fight.
Yeah.
Short, not too long.
We're gonna have to get used to the casual kisses between these two. That's something I'm coming to realize as the show goes on. I still am just in utter shock every time I see it go down, and it looks like she kind of reflexively, you know, pulls away as well as soon as it's over, but whatever you gotta do for that check, am I right, Liz?
Liz and I are getting along very well physically. Let me just say that. Woo!
Ed, you can't make this so difficult for me, man. We're not even a couple minutes into this, and again, I already feel like I need to call my mom and have her pick me up. But just look at that smile. He's on top of the world. He's been absolutely killing it in his book, and it just seems like he's at the highest point of his life. He's hoping to at least plateau from here on out, but as we all know, things are gonna go downhill before they ever, you know, flatten out for Ed. I'm ready for the next big L, man. Bring it on.
And I'm so excited right now because I'm beginning to believe in my heart that Liz is the real deal for me.
Man, he's already talking like he's ready to propose. And I know I always joke about little things like that, like, oh, he's gonna say I love you, and then he actually does, or, oh, he's gonna go for the kiss, and then he actually does. But I firmly believe that for the season finale, Ed might be attempting to pop the question to Liz. Like, I could totally see it being just distorted in his brain where he says, oh, it's been a month, it's been amazing, yeah, we should get married, because he just seems to jump headfirst into every relationship he has. Again, you can't blame the guy because he hasn't been dating for pretty much 30 years, but he's got to get a clue sometime and stop being this serious this early on. I mean, if Liz heard these interviews going down, I'm sure she'd be creeped out and try to distance herself a little bit after hearing that. She's not your soulmate, bro, or at least you don't know that yet.
How are you feeling? You're gonna meet the daughter.
The daughter.
I just feel bad for Liz. You know, this entire season, every time they go somewhere, they're getting driven around, and Ed is just sitting here, seatbeltless, turned sideways, like, how are you feeling? You glad you came? Yeah, I love you. Just kidding. Like, dude, turn forward, put some AirPods in, just relax for the ride, man. We don't gotta always be having these awkward conversations.
We might as well just get it over with. Nothing really to hold out on. Plus, I feel like the last 2 weeks have been really great.
So according to Liz, she just wanted to bite the bullet and get this over with. I still think it's a little bit early, but at the same time, you know, if you drag out you meeting this daughter for too long, there's just gonna be like this awkward resentment between you two, and it might never happen. So it's good they're kind of getting over this hump right now, and as we all know, it's about to be absolute TV gold. So I'm very glad she made that decision, and I'm wondering how many checks had to go her way in order for her to agree to this.
Tiffany has a problem with me dating younger women, and that was her biggest concern with Rose.
And you got to look at the daughter's side of this too. She's already been through this. She already was humiliated by having her dad go on this show and try to date this woman over across the world that was younger than her as well. He just didn't look good that entire time. He made some seriously creepy moves, and overall his reputation was not super good after this. I mean, everyone knew him as the cringe king, but Ed has definitely made some big decisions in the past that we all don't agree with. So I can see why his daughter does not want him to go through basically that whole thing again. Even though it's on home turf here in America, it's still a very young woman that is from an entirely different stage of life than he is right now. And it's just, if you look into this relationship beyond just the surface layer of them saying they're happy, you can see where all the cracks lie, and soon this thing is all gonna fall apart. The daughter knows that. She doesn't want her dad's heart to be broken again, and she doesn't want to be embarrassed having her father be a TV personality, so I totally get it. The other thing to think about is, I said this in the intro, but Rose is 28, soon to be 29, or not Rose, sorry, Liz, and Ed's daughter is 31, so there's a 3-year age gap between his daughter and his girlfriend. His daughter being older, that is just something that you don't want to have to try to wrap your head around. That overall is just super creepy and weird. I'm sorry, I don't have anything else to tell you. If you're in an age gap relationship, you do you, boo, but that is just strange to me.
Because you're nervous. You're not intimidating. You're very independent. You know, the age, for me, it's a number.
And Ed pulls out the classic, age is but a number, my love, statement, which is just so BS, bro. I mean, it's not like you're in your 20s and you're out here being fit and could keep up with her lifestyle if she's, you know, hustling and bustling. You're considering retiring soon, bro. Like, you are in a different stage of your life, like I said earlier. So age is not just a number, it's many factors. One of the many things that I think will eventually lead you two to break up, especially once this season's done and the money stops coming in. So they get to the restaurant where they're gonna meet, and of course TLC drags us out for like 20 freaking minutes, trying to make it all suspenseful, like, oh my gosh, is the daughter gonna show up? What if she gets cold feet and doesn't show up to the lunch? Wouldn't that be crazy? Like, no, of course she's gonna freaking show up. So I'm gonna skip forward to where the interaction starts here, and this is where the awkwardness begins.
The hotel where we're staying is great, and we have the biggest suite you've ever seen.
Awkward. I mean, it's pretty much just Ed talking in the beginning and them not even making eye contact with each other. Oh man, that has got to be so tense. And like I said in the previous episode, I have the experience of this as well, as meeting with people that your parents begin to date after they get divorced. And it's always an awkward situation, but just sprinkle in the whole age dynamic here and the fact that this lady is older than his girlfriend. I hate having to say that over and over, but it really is just such an awkward point to bring up. You can see why they're all just kind of on edge here.
But Liz looks older than me. She looks rugged. Botox does wonders.
What the hell? Where did that come from, bro? That was like way out of left field, man. That was not needed, but I mean, some shade being thrown Liz's way. Apparently she looks old and rugged according to Ed's daughter. I mean, isn't that what you'd want? Some lady that looks old so you're not embarrassed that your dad's dating someone half his age? I don't really get why she had to throw that in there, but it was definitely funny and shows she's a little bit salty about this situation, to say the least.
I'll just break that. This is awkward.
It is awkward.
It is. I mean, this is the first time I'm actually meeting a girlfriend. Really?
Dude, why is Ed like have tears welling up in his eyes right now? Oh man, it's just so awkward for him that he's officially dying inside and he's just beginning to tear up.
Are you dating somebody that's younger than your daughter? Like, that's weird. Because if roles were reversed, he would lose his shit if I was dating somebody that was 54.
I mean, she does have a point here. You know, Ed would be absolutely livid if he found out his daughter was dating some creep in his 50s. But I mean, when Ed is the creep in his 50s and it's kind of reversed roles, he's like, oh yeah, this is fine. Age is but a number. Like, man, there's no way you can hide this. It's just absolutely weird. And when the daughter's coming forth and saying that herself, you can tell that she just doesn't care what her dad thinks. She's just getting it all out on the table right here and speaking her mind. So props to the daughter here, even though she was a bit rude earlier to Liz. I will admit, we'll forgive that. I'm glad she's speaking her mind.
But I was telling her that you guys are like the same.
I'm gonna say that weirds me out. That's just awkward as
Ed never knows what to say in these situations, and it always just seems to be the worst possible option comes out of his mouth. So to ease the tension here, as his daughter's kind of popping off talking about how much she hates their relationship existing in the first place, Ed has the bright idea of saying, you know, you really shouldn't dislike her because you two are pretty much the exact same. Like, who wants to hear that? Like, oh, this person that's younger than me that you're dating is a lot like me? Yeah, I did not want to hear that, Dad. That's freaking creepy. Man, Ed, you don't know what to say. Sometimes you just got to keep your mouth shut and it would be so much better. Trust me.
That is the last thing I want to hear. Like, I don't want to hear, oh yeah, my girlfriend is like you. It's just so weird.
And imagine being this girl, you know, you don't talk to your dad that much. He flies in once to talk to you about this girl from the Philippines he's wanting to date, and then just doesn't talk to you that much. And then a year later, he's like, hey, I want to fly out my other girlfriend who's in her early 20s. Like, why is this the only time that we ever have conversations, Dad? And I feel so bad for this girl. But at the same time, I mean, if she truly wants her dad to be happy, I guess you just gotta kind of give it time and trust that he's making good decisions, even though he's kind of a man-child. So I get why she doesn't trust him with making his own decisions. But who knows? Maybe this relationship really will work out, because if they've been lasting for a month, once you get over that hump of like dating Ed for at least 2 weeks, you pretty much can go to the end of time, because it shows that you just have the willpower to withstand any amount of cringe or awkward situations.
You're at one phase in your life, and he's winding down somewhat on his. Like,
I'm
you're
not winding down. What do you mean?
And here Ed gets offended that his daughter calls him old. That was definitely a button that should not have gotten pressed, because I've never even heard Ed get angry like this, but he was about to flip the table, being told that he's winding down in his life. He wants to just have this aura about him that he's young and spry and can keep up with Liz, even though they both know deep down that's not going to be true. Even already, it's probably not true. So this conversation goes on for a while, and pretty much the entire time the daughter's not buying any of this. She's really not feeling it. I guess it's good they kind of got over this hump, but needless to say, this conversation did not go well at all. Now, I hate leaving you all with cliffhangers 24/7 in these videos, but again, I'm just making these videos as the content comes out. Something goes down between now and the next time we see Ed, where catastrophically this relationship has blown up. I don't know if it was a result of this awkward situation and Liz, you know, finally got a little bit wise and was like, hey, maybe I shouldn't get serious with this guy, because it just all spells bad news. His daughter hates me. He's twice my age. He's kind of weird. Just none of this works. So maybe that's what makes her walk out, but it sounds like there is some big turmoil between Liz and Ed in the next episode. So make sure you stay tuned and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you want to see that, make sure you watch the playlist link down below if you've missed any episodes, because this entire roller coaster ride has been full of cringe and awkward moments. A lot of TV gold here. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. Thank you so much for the continued support on these videos. We're so close to 600K, so make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this, as well as hit the bell so you don't miss any further uploads. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video. And until then, peace out.